watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Hello, good morning. It's 9 o'clock and you're watching GB News. Coming up this hour, it's the last hours to get your Christmas presents with the pandemic. How is it affecting the high streets? Plus, Colin Brazier looking at the new space race, including rising tensions east to west, the return to the moon, and Star Trek's William Shatner finally reaching the actual stars. But first, it's the news with Olivia.
Good morning. This is your news at 9 o'clock. Boris Johnson's urging people to come forward to get a COVID booster jab in his Christmas message. The Prime Minister's asking people to get the gift of a booster as part of the neighbourly spirit of the season. His message follows data from the UK Health Security Agency that suggests Omicron is milder than other COVID variants like Delta.
We know that things remain difficult, but for millions of families up and down the country, I hope and believe that this Christmas is and will be significantly better than the last in this vital respect. That we can celebrate together with those we love and raise our glasses to those who can't be with us.
Meanwhile, Sir Keir Starmer has thanked key workers who have saved countless lives in this year's Christmas message to the nation.
Christmas is also a time of reflection. This year, like last year, has been incredibly difficult for our country. Too many families have experienced unimaginable loss. For too many, there'll be one less chair at the table for the Christmas meal. But I believe that if we stick together, support each other, and work together, we can find a path through. I know a better future is possible.
Well, the Queen's Christmas Day message is expected to be particularly personal this year, as it's her first since the death of her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh. A photograph released by Buckingham Palace ahead of her televised address to the nation shows the Queen in Windsor Castle. Her Majesty's accompanied by a single framed photo of her diamond wedding anniversary in 2007. People keen to get their booster jab can now do so even on Christmas Day. The NHS is increasing efforts in a Jingle Jab campaign. Staff and volunteers are giving out vaccines today, tomorrow and on Boxing Day. People are advised to book, but the NHS say there will also be walk-in appointments available across the country. Well, the UK, EU and the US have received more doses of COVID-19 vaccines in the last 6 weeks than African countries have all year. New analysis from the People's Vaccine Alliance shows that in the last 6 weeks, Western nations received 513 million doses. Meanwhile, countries in Africa received just 500 million throughout the whole of 2021. It's feared the continent may fail to fully vaccinate its population even by Christmas of next year. Police figures suggest that on average 80 officers were assaulted each day this year in the UK. Data shows there were over 7,000 assaults against police officers over just 3 months in 2021. The statistics suggest there may have been more than 29,000 incidents over the whole year. A former Minneapolis police officer has been convicted of manslaughter over the killing of a black motorist during a traffic stop. Kim Potter shot 20-year-old Dante Wright as she tried to arrest him over a weapons possession charge. She said she confused her gun for her taser. The 49-year-old will be sentenced in February. And the most expensive ever telescope is blasting into space tomorrow. 100 times more sensitive than its predecessor Hubble, the James Webb Space Telescope will be launched on Christmas Day after a delay due to weather. Scientists hope it will shed new light on the birth of the universe. That's your update. I'll be back in an hour. Now back to Alex.
Good morning. As Omicron cases continue to surge in the UK, footfall on the high street has fallen. In Melton Mowbray, queues in the town are much shorter than before the pandemic, unless, of course, you're waiting for one essential item. Our East Midlands reporter, Will Hollis, has more.
Good things come to those who wait, and in Leicestershire, some specialities can't be missed from the Christmas list. Pork pies made Melton into a British food capital. At Christmas, it comes second only to turkey.
The people of Melton Mowbray in Leicestershire normally have pork pie for breakfast on Christmas Day. That's a tradition, a long-held tradition that they like to stick to. So that's what the vast majority of our customers come for. A lot of people come in from the Leicestershire area to buy the pork pie for Christmas breakfast.
With queues out the door, shelves always need fresh stock. People travel from miles away to get their traditional pie.
So I've come from West Bridgeford in Nottingham, so we've come to get one of the handmade pork pies. It's one of our Christmas traditions, so ever since I was little, we'd start every Christmas morning with a pork pie and a glass of Bucks Fizz.
We've come from Retford in Nottinghamshire to buy a Melton Mowbray pork pie, or two, for Christmas. And hopefully they'll make it home and not get eaten in the car on the way back.
With the government's talk about Omicron and the fact there might be another lockdown, that's made people want to spend more money, I think, so they're buying more than they normally would. So rather than 2 pies, they're buying 4.
It's busy here, but quieter than usual in the rest of town. Omicron and the Prime Minister's advice to limit contact with others is stopping some shopping, but there are plenty braving the streets.
I just need last-minute bits and pieces, and this doesn't seem terribly busy, and I'm quite happy.
It's quite quiet in Melton, so I'd rather be here than in a bigger city centre. So, yeah, more than happy.
I'm very confident, to be quite honest. People are wearing masks in the shops, and people are sensible.
Just having a browse, getting some fresh air, if that's possible. But with Omicron, we've got to be safe.
Kim runs a gift shop at the heart of town. Government grants have helped her stay open during the pandemic.
There's obviously some concerns about the new variant, if it's going to affect them socially, but for trading it seems been quite good.
Keeping shops clean has become a priority for businesses that want to keep customers during COVID, but it's something that tattoo parlours were doing long before the pandemic. Here, they limit the number of people that can come in for a tattoo at one time, but they say they don't get many that are Christmas themed.
So the fact that we have to keep it a one-person shot at a time does change our time and our ability. But there's not that much of a difference. There really isn't. It's a business that's pretty consistent.
Brits are expected to spend £25 billion on Christmas this year. Spending should rise after a Christmas cash crash in 2020, according to statistics on Finder.
In recent decades, the move towards online shopping has made it harder for smaller towns like Melton at Christmas. And this year, Omicron has added to that. However, an encouragement to shop locally and on the high street when you can is helping businesses this Christmas.
Some Christmas traditions in Melton had to be cancelled, but overall, business is doing better than expected.
Footfall this last few weeks has really gone up, so we are seeing that people are shopping locally and getting in the Christmas spirit. People are going, people come from Retford and Sheffield today just to buy their turkeys and pork pies. The pork pie shop we've seen been really busy, and people are shopping locally, which is great.
COVID is often accompanied by fear, but Christmas brings hope. Melton, like many places, is bruised but not broken. Will Hollis reporting for GB News in the East Midlands.
Now, what do you know about bell ringing? Probably not much. I used to do it as a youngster, actually, and it's not that easy, believe me. It's a skill which has lasted since the 17th century, and it's a very important job on Christmas Day. Our North West of England reporter Bradley Harris went to Carlisle Cathedral to find out more.
A sound recognised by many on Christmas Day. At Carlisle Cathedral, up to 12 bells can ring at any one time. Behind the scenes, a well-trained team of bell ringers are on hand to create the perfect rhythm.
Well, it was my first time ringing on a Sunday morning, so it was very nerve-wracking. Really enjoyable though, really enjoyed it, and it's sort of a culmination of my early training so far, so I've got a lot more practicing to do. A lot more people attend services at Christmas, and a lot more people sort of interact with the bells and listen to them and appreciate them. So it's just the tradition overall is what it means to me.
Once you've climbed 117 steps, you come here to the ringing room. People from all over the country come to ring the bells of Carlisle Cathedral. Bells which have been ringing since 1999. In the UK, bells have traditionally been associated with Christmas for thousands of years, but groups began pulling bells on a rope around the 17th century. So how easy is it?
I started in 1999. The early stages I likened to like when you're learning to drive a car, when you have to change gear and signal and look and turn the steering wheel, all these different things you have to do all at the same time. And it's the same with bell ringing at the beginning, and eventually it just becomes automatic, some of those things, and you can just do them together, and it's like after COVID, we had a long gap during COVID, and when we couldn't actually ring the bells, and some people, when they came back, found it really hard to actually physically ring the bells again. But I think a lot of us who'd been ringing for longer, it was the muscle memory was there, and so we slipped back into it much more quickly.
It's not just at Christmas when the bells start ringing. The team practice every Friday and have pulled on some very special occasions.
Well, in recent times, of course, the Battle of Britain service, and then, of course, Remembrance Day, which is always very important. There's also a great tradition here that we ring for the birthday of Dean Rushdell, who originally gave some money for the restoration of the bells in 1925. And it is a condition of his will that we ring each year on his birthday, which we still continue to do. And of course, apart from Christmas, we have New Year coming, and we shall be ringing the bells for the New Year, we hope. So yes, there's plenty of ringing to be done.
Next time you hear the bells ring out, spare a thought for those at the end of the ropes. A joy to many who pull them, but even more for those who listen. Bradley Harris, Carlisle, GB News.
Now, are you dreaming of a white Christmas? Well, if there's one man who knows whether it will be a reality, it's the meteorologist Alex Deacon, and he joined us on the Great British Breakfast a little bit earlier.
Definition. Most people think white Christmas, deep and crisp and even. They want a foot of snow outside. But actually, all you need is for one flake to fall, and then you can say you've actually had a white Christmas. So that's any time between midnight and midnight. So you've got the whole 24 hours just to see one flake, and you can say you've had a white Christmas. Now, there is a tiny chance that a few places might get that. So we're talking Shetland, Aberdeenshire. There is a possibility of a few snow flurries overnight tonight into the morning. And there is a very small chance of parts of Lincolnshire down towards Norfolk of seeing just the odd flake on Christmas morning for about 5 minutes. But it is just a very small chance. So the vast majority not going to see one this year. Hills of northern England, again, may also see a little bit for a time on Christmas morning, but most of us are not going to see any. But all you need for a white Christmas officially is to see one flake of snow falling from the sky. Most Christmases, there is a white Christmas somewhere in the UK because of that definition I just talked about, that kind of broad definition. So most year, or more often than not, somewhere in the UK will see a flake of snow. A couple of years ago, when we had one of the warmest Christmas days on record, if not the warmest, with temperatures like 18 degrees across the south, it was still a white Christmas in northwest Scotland because late in the day a cold front came down and there was a bit of snow there. So actually, more often than not, somewhere in the UK does see one. But you are right, they are getting rarer, and particularly those snowy scenes where snow is lying on the ground, they are getting rarer and rarer. So 2010 was the last time we had widespread snow lying on the ground 11 years ago. The last time there was actually a widespread white Christmas where snow actually fell during the day was back in 2004. So yeah, they are pretty rare. Who came up with it? Well, you know, who benefits from people going to the bookmakers and spending lots of money and it not happening? I'll let you answer that one.
Do you know, whatever he says, I do not remember those white Christmases. Where was I? I was definitely in the UK, but I don't remember these beautiful, fantastical, gorgeous Christmas scenes. Well, after the break, Colin Brazier will be taking a look at the new space race. That's right, and how Star Trek legend William Shatner finally reached the actual stars. You don't want to miss it. Very exciting things happening in the world of space exploration at the moment. Now, before all of that, of course, we know it's not going to be a white Christmas. It would have been on the front of all the newspapers, but we are going to have some weather, so let's find out what it is.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, welcome to the latest forecast. It looks likely that we'll see further hill snow across northern parts of Scotland through this morning. Foggy further south, and then blustery rain turns up later from the southwest because of this active weather front. You can see the extent of mild air across the UK at the moment, but still some cold conditions in the north, and that's led to falling and settling snow over the higher ground of Scotland overnight. Northern Scotland still subject to a weather warning because of the likelihood of disruption over some of the higher routes, I think, from that snowfall. Elsewhere, a lot of low cloud, fairly damp in the north, some hill fog and some low-lying fog through central areas during the morning and early part of the afternoon, before this weather front sends a band of rain and gusty winds in by the afternoon from the southwest. Mild in the southwest, colder further north, fairly bright in the far north of Scotland, albeit with a few wintry showers. And then we watch as this weather front brings some rain to the Midlands, South East England, East Anglia, and eventually it stalls across Northern Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, into the Midlands and parts of Norfolk and Suffolk by the morning of Christmas Day. Either side of that, quite a contrast in conditions, mild but blustery in the far southwest, colder and frosty as we begin things on Christmas Day in the far north. This is the place to be if you like crisp winter sunshine for Christmas Day. Plenty of that for northern and western Scotland, and some brighter skies for southern Scotland at times as well. Mild and blustery with showers in the southwest, and in between an awful lot of cloud, and that cloud covering hills, as well as bringing some light outbreaks of rain and perhaps hill snow to the Pennines. Possibility of Snowdonia and southern Scotland as well. Boxing Day is similar, with showers in the south and plenty of mild air here, colder and brighter further north, and in between areas of rain and hill snow. Bye-bye.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk. Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show, Farron,